estamos aquí guarachando, descargando. ¡Ajá!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How y'all doing? This is your boy Scam Likely. Back, like I told you, my show is back. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of not random, but different things. Sometimes we'll talk about careers, sometimes personal development, sometimes a hot topic, a cold topic, a random topic. But everything, I'm going to try to keep it communication, positivity based, or career focused. Something that just makes the arrow point up. This week's topic, military women's. I love the word women's. I just love it, but y'all know me. In a lot of these spaces, a lot of YouTube panels and stuff, a lot of the men have been able to talk about military, and then a lot of people kind of tune it out. So this time I brought a woman, and I'll even open it up for another, if there's any other women that want to join in. We're going to talk about the military. I'm a veteran. I was in the Army, 1998 to 2000. Yes, I'm older than I look. I look about 25, and I'm in the shape of a 22-year-old. But I was in the military in 1998 to 20. I was 161 pounds, 164 when I left. I came back from basic 161. So I looked almost the same. Just could run faster and run long distance longer. I was the same person, just a little bit more grown up because I needed to grow up. Good experience, bad experience, a mixture of both. That's my opinion. I worked with all men's. I was combat arms. Men, field artillery, blowing up stuff out in the field, dirty, whatever. In at 18, I was out by 20. In college, did a lot of things, did what I did. A lot of benefits, a lot of wear and tear. So some pros and there's some cons, and it's not for everybody. I'm not here to tell people that they should go in the military. I'm not here telling all women you should go in the military or else. Hey, it's not for everybody. But it's something that people don't understand, like from the inside. Like what it really is with the how-tos and what about this. So this hopefully be a show where you can actually get some questions answered or get a better understanding of some of how the military is. I got out in 2000. That was 23 years ago. Things have changed. Wasn't as many women, and I didn't work with women. So I can only tell you my view. An old, long time ago view. I was only enlisted E1, E2, E3, and out. What we're going to try to do tonight, we're going to try to not use all these terms, PFC and TRADOC and brigade command. Y'all don't know what that stuff means. I don't even remember what it means. So we're going to try to eliminate some of the military lingo and just have regular conversation. What the military is, how's it work, how's it pay, with the good, the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly. The uglier, because some people are ugly than me, they're in the military. I mean, they were too ugly to do something else, so they joined the military, and they thought somehow that joining the military is going to stop them from being ugly. Wrong. If you're ugly now, you're going to be ugly in the military. The uniform can't fix that. But anyway, I got a guest today. She's representing the women's. She's representing the military women's. She's a veteran. I'll let her tell her story because I don't want to mess it up. Really, I do, but I mean, she'll get me for it. But she served in the military. She is a woman. One of those women's. I'll let her introduce her own self and tell her own story about the military. Then I'm going to grill her with a whole bunch of questions. Then we're going to cover some information about how the military is from the inside to outside. Then we're going to go home and eat a sandwich. Cool? Cool. Welcome to the stage. Can I get it as you were? You're muted. Mel, you're muted. You ain't gonna return my salute?
No, I'm done with it. As you were. Good evening. Can
I get it as you were at least?
That's
Can I at least get it as you were?
Hey, I said as you were.
Oh, all right. Relax. Welcome, Mel. Can you tell us your experience, your background, and as I figure out how to work? I'm so rusty. There.
Okay.
I ain't been on this to the point where I can't even fix this stuff.
Oh,
there we go. Show them braces. Mel, tell us a little about your background, starting military.
Yeah, I joined when I was 17, straight out of high school. I had to actually get a a waiver signed to actually sign and join up. Went away. I started out enlisted human resources, but I was working in a engineering brigade, so didn't get to do my job. I actually worked in the motor pool, and the motor pool is like where we keep.
What's the motor pool? Hold on,
I
motor
was just
pool.
gonna say that.
Come
It's
on,
like
man.
it's where we
Human
keep
turn.
all the military vehicles behind lock and key or whatever, so nobody can steal them. So I worked there, and then I was going to college, and I got asked one day to was I interested in becoming an officer? And at first I said no, but then I realized I had bills to pay, and I was taking care of my sister's kids or whatever. I was helping take care of them, so I needed extra money. Went green to gold. I retired as a captain. I was a transportation officer. Then I was transitioned to logistics, and I've had quite a bit of interesting assignments. I was under 82nd. I worked in the only petroleum supply company, which is fuel.
Just a second. What is 82nd? What is
I'm so sorry.
What's green to gold? What does this mean?
Okay, so I transitioned from enlisted to becoming a commissioned officer, which means I had to graduate with a degree and I had to go to officer training school.
Okay, can you break down the difference in enlisted and officer? I'm actually might send this video to some teenagers. They 16, 17, they don't know nothing.
Okay, so when you're enlisted, it's like basically the worker bees, the people that actually do most of the work. The officers are the ones that kind of make the rules. We're the black and white, but we also coordinate from the top, and we're like the supervisors. If you have a job, supervisors and managers, it's your job. Somebody tell us what to do, then we break it down on what we can do, and then we tell y'all to do it and y'all do it. We don't necessarily do it, but we just have to make sure it gets done. So and so I work.
So let me clear this up. So let's say it's like the police force. You got your regular people on patrol to just drive cars, give tickets, and do the basic stuff, lower ranking. Then there are officers who go to college and do more schooling, training, and they are more on the political side, or they do higher level stuff and make higher level money.
Yeah, but you also inherit those higher level decisions too. So if say you write a ticket or you get an order wrong, say you're working at a fast food place, you might get a basic reprimand. But if I mess up something, then that could be almost the end of my career, depending on what it is, because it's a certain level of expectation.
Oh, so it means the higher you go, the higher level of responsibility.
Yes.
And visibility.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like if I go on a mission and the mission's already planned and I know what we need and say, like, I tell y'all what to do. However, I don't go back and inspect it and we're missing a critical part, a component of equipment, and we can't complete that mission. Y'all might get yelled at or whatever, but I could get demoted or taken off certain missions or a letter of reprimand. So a letter of reprimand is almost like a curse to an officer.
Interesting. Because the way we always say it is as if the people at the bottom, they're not that important, and the people at the top can get away with everything. So you're telling me it's not like that in the military?
I would say it's a good old boy system. It's still like that in a way. I would say for certain people, it's always gonna be, that's my boy, scratch my back. I scratch yours. But for the most part, if you doing what you're supposed to do the right way, everybody is not going to like you per se, because they're gonna be like, she always want to follow the rules or da. But I'm trying to cover my own ass because I don't have a friend that's a colonel that could save my ass if something don't go right. So, I mean, it's just honest.
Let me go back. So you were 17 years old. You looked around and said, hey, this is a way to make some extra money or make some good money as a career.
Well, my grandfather was retired Air Force, and my uncle, he served. But I never, I won't say that growing up or at 17, I had a desire to go, I want to go serve my country. I want to follow in their footsteps. I had college scholarships for track and for academics, from several schools. However, I had to look at the whole grand scheme of things and look at the long game. I still end up being able to run track because when you do the green to gold program, which is a transition program, you're still on active duty, but your active duty is going to school and completing college, and throughout it we have to write what they call white papers, and basically it's just like a study on how the program is, because we're in ROTC in college, so we're still doing the ROTC training. We're still like keeping up our skills. We're connected with the National Guard or Reserve unit that's in the area, so we still would drill once a month, so we're still around other soldiers, like actual soldiers, and not just living a college life. And then and we write these white papers, and it's basically our own experience, and sometimes they'll give us specific topics that they want to learn about, like how they can improve on things or what needs to change, or just things about the program in general. So I mean, it's a task, but you get active duty pay to go to college. It's honestly easiest thing I ever did, because I was already going to night.
Had you okay, most people in the military are enlisted. And I'll just say this because I went through enlisted program. I was 17, looked at my GPA, I realized I was lazy. Because I was smart, but I woke up one day and I was 17, I got to do something.
Yeah.
Brother and sister both in college, they took the money, the cars, the couch, the food, and everything, and it's me. So 17, I'm about to turn 18. Signed up, left in August 1998. I knew at least the summer I was able to prepare mentally and do a bunch of running.
Right.
But because I know a common question I would ask, what is basic training? So I'm gonna cover the enlisted side of basic training.
I did the enlisted side. What you want me
to
do?
You did?
Yeah,
okay.
I was enlisted first. Like I had no desire to be an officer. Like I made E5, and then I was asked to about joining the ROTC program to transition to be an officer.
Okay, what exactly? Because all we see on TV is a big ugly drill sergeant with the round hat in somebody's smoking, blah, 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 blah. That's all we know from people know from TV. What is basic training? And what year did you go in? Also, what year did you go in?
2006.
06, and I went in 98.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you like this. I went to Oklahoma. In processing, there's 3 days, paperwork and all this, getting shots, lines and whatever, getting uniforms, nagging. Then as soon as you get off the bus with all your stuff, everybody's quiet because they don't know what to expect. As soon as you get off, 6 to 8 dudes you ain't never seen. That is true.
Yeah, except it's 5 days now. Like when I went, and I think I have one of my former players, he just went, and it's still 5 to 6 days. It depends. Like some people had to like have a shot delay, and they might be 6 days, but it's 5 days, and then that 6th day is your last day there, and that's when they make sure everything packed up, and you actually go to wherever you're gonna start your training on the 7th day. So they're still getting up in the grill, all up in the face, yelling, "What are you looking at?" Well, he said it wasn't that bad. They were yelling, but they weren't like as aggressive, like in their face or whatever. But they were still yelling at them and stuff. But he said for the most, they got to keep their phones. They not on them, but they got to have their phones in the evenings.
Okay, things have changed, but we can. A cell phone was a luxury in '98 anyway.
Yeah.
But
like they locked up our phone. We got phone calls like once a week. What we would do in the evening time would be studying or writing letters. We couldn't even use like the pay phones during the week. Like on Sundays is when we was gonna call home. So
it was the same for us.
Yeah.
But we ran. We woke up at 4 a.m. We ran. Mm-hmm. We ate.
Yep.
Run long lines. A bunch of training out in the dirt and whatever you did. Mine was 8 weeks. Because I was combat armed, they just combined it with my military.
Okay, yeah.
The job you pick is a specialty training. Mine was combined. So 13 weeks of common just training. Mm-hmm. This is Army. Mm-hmm. For you, you were also Army. Mm-hmm. How long was your actual training? And then what job did you pick to do when you were enlisted?
So my basic training was 10 weeks. when I went, and then I chose to be the unit where I was going. The needs of the Army with the bonus that I wanted at the time, believe it or not, was admin. So
Bonus?
Yes, bonus.
Okay. That we're going to cover.
Okay.
We're going to cover the bonus later because I'm going to get into some details about military, but bonus, noted.
Yeah. So I chose 42 outfits, which 42 outfits basically it's admin, but it's basically like a secretary or a paper pusher, however you want to put it, but you work in the office. But I got trained for the mailroom as well. So mine was 15 weeks total.
So hold on. So you mean to tell me, because we watch all these movies, fire in the hole.
We do all that.
No,
we do all that. Everybody do the same thing. We do the same training as combat arms to go sit in somebody's office.
Okay, so while you're on active duty, you're telling me y'all weren't just running out in the woods throwing grenades and blowing up people?
No.
Because that's people watch military movies. It don't matter if you're Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard. They drop you off in the woods. A siren goes off and says, "War!" And you're just running out shooting it. That's what they think the military is.
No. So
So we're shooting at people and doing paperwork at the same time. Count how many people. That's not what the military is?
Hell no. Like, that's why I tell people all the time, stop watching movies. Like, deployment is one thing, but even deployment's not like that. It's not like you just like blind going in and you just like going. It's not like it's not like Platoon. It's like Platoon. I'm like, no, I literally like you go to work your 9 to 5. That's exactly how it is. Except you get up in the morning, you go work out. Then you have like work call, like they say you have to be at work, like in the office or wherever you're designated. Like if you work with the vehicles, you go to the mechanic shop or whatever. If you work in supply, then you'll go to where they keep all the stuff and go count shit all day and write it down, I guess. Like you just go to your regular job. Like you have to be at work at 9. You have lunch from 11:30 to 1. Then you go back after 1 and you leave by 5. Like sometimes it might be a little bit later if you have to do paperwork or if you have like a inspection coming up, but it's nothing less than like a regular job. You might have parts coming in, depending on where you work. You might have incoming soldiers coming in. You have to put in their stuff in the computer. But for the most part, it's like a regular job. I mean, everybody has their own thing that makes the machine work, but that's not your everyday going and throwing grenades and out there with weapons. Like we go to the range once a year. We do the gas chamber once a year. Do your PT test every 6 months. But mostly it's just making sure you're healthy. So it depends. And it's two sides of it too. You have combat and you have support. Most of the Army, believe it or not, is support.
More than 90%.
Yeah, it's support.
I just like to back on what she said. I knew Army, and this is 98, stuff changes up and down, but over 90% of the military is support.
Yep.
I believe the Navy, Army, Marines, Coast Guard, most of it is support. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of women in military. They're not running out like the G.I. Jane movie, throwing and shooting and snapping people's necks. That is not true.
I worked in...
There are different positions. I was combat arms. Yeah, I was blowing stuff up in the field.
So
she was admin.
But see, that's when I was enlisted. When I became an officer and I switched over to logistics, see, that's a misconception. And I found that out. Like, so even combat arms, they need their own set of support. So with me being logistics, I was embedded in a combat arms unit. Women, I was a part of that era where women, were able to be combat arms, but I was in it before they changed that law. But we were embedded in those same, units with the men. So it's not like we were like completely like you can't do any combat arms, you can't do anything with them. We were there. We just weren't like listed as combat arms. Like I've been on like routes with them. I've gone out on some missions with them, but I wasn't combat arms. But I was their support, so I was there. So, I mean, I just think it's, everybody, and I feel like this is any business or company, have a way of doing things without doing things. because I wasn't combat arms, but I was embedded in a combat arms unit. And I would do the same training and stuff they do, but it's not like we do that training every day. Like we'll go to the field like once a year, and we would say go to the field camping, but it wasn't camping. We would be out there practicing our land navigation, just the basic skills, and we would do hand grenades sometimes, you know, just to make sure we still know how to do it. We would go to the range. We would do like tactics training where they'll set something up. Like, okay, this is your scenario. What would you do in this situation? We'll do stuff like that, you know. But that was not every day. And then even when you actually are in those situations, when you're on a mission, when you're overseas, everybody don't see that combat that y'all see in movies. It happens, yeah. But like I said, the Army is more support than anything else. Like, if I got to get you beans and bullets. If I don't do my job, you don't eat, and you can't fight whoever you need to fight. So that was my role.
Question. There's a lot of talk with feminism and the men's versus the women's. I represent the men's. She represents the women's. There's a lot of talk of women can't do what a man can do, and a man with the women's, and we don't need women's in our military because they're weak. We need it to be men's. What do you think of your personal opinion on that?
So okay. So this is a very loaded question. Me personally, do I believe that women in general can do everything a man can do? No.
Only military.
I would say, however, as far as military and our training, we're all, I wouldn't say this. Do we get the same training? Yes. Do we have to pass at the same standard? Yes. But if you look at something like the PT test, you have a male side and a female side. Well, no, not now, because they changed it to the.
I don't know what it is now.
I forgot. I know what it is. I can see it in my head. So, but it's kind of it's on the same scale now, but it's different. But when I was in like the PT test, you had a female side and a male side. But then you have to look at the grand scheme of things. When we talk about males and females, can somebody that's 42 do what this 19-year-old can do coming in? So I would say it just depends on what it is and who it is. So I would say I hate when people say they don't need women in the military, because it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. What it is somebody there to provide you what you need. I don't think it should depend on the gender. And I think that's what so many people get hung up on. They're saying men or women can't do this, but it's not that. It's like, who can provide you the support? I don't think it matters if it's a man or a woman. But at the end of the day, if I have to drag out a man that's 250 pounds out of a building or something, he got shot, I've been trained to do that. Like, we have to practice with the same dummy to pull whoever out. And when I say dummy, like an actual dummy, like, you know, for the carries and stuff. So, I mean, we're held to that standard.
Yeah, I'll just use just chime in an example. Mm-hmm. There are people who go in the military as medics. Mm-hmm. There's a whole bunch of jobs. I'll probably drop a couple of links. Because the questions are, what do you do in the military? I mean, okay, there's support. What support? You got admin, you got IT, then you got military lingo stuff, weapons. The Navy got nuclear. Navy got stuff I don't understand. Nuclear weapon, explosive tech.
Yep.
Few things. Some of those jobs pay and they got bonuses.
Yep.
And people go to get their bonuses and their money and to get trained.
They're smart enough, yeah. Yeah.
But some jobs a man can do and a woman. Who can cook, who can flip a spatula faster and cook? Who cares? You want your food.
I get my food.
There's always a shortage of cooks in the military. Man or woman, just cook the food.
Right.
There are male and female military police, male and female admin. A lot more females were in admin, at least when I was in. But medical, some of them are doing field medic stuff and they're out there in them streets. Mm-hmm. A lot of medics work in hospitals or little clinics, and it's almost like a regular civilian job.
Yes. Just
like when you go to your doctor, your PCP, there's specialists, there's whatever, whole medical field, men's and women's.
Yeah, because Eva used to work in a farming when she was in. And then I got to do like a rare thing, like once I finished with like certain, like, because you're supposed to hit certain tiers in training. Like you know, before you get promoted, you got to go to this school to learn this, and because as you get more rank, you get more responsibility. So I got to do something called training with industry, and I really went to, like, I was working with some, like, when I say working with civilians, like I actually went to, not civilians in the army, like civilians. Like I went to a regular warehouse and basically just saw how they operated, and I was to report back, write papers, send suggestions on how they can operate smoothly and how maybe we could use some of what they're doing as recommendations for us to operate. Like I was out of uniform for so long, when I had to go back to regular army and put my uniform on, I was like, damn. So
that would mean you were in the military, getting paid by the military, trained by the military. Of course, it ain't free because they want what they want from you.
I would say, yeah, to learn from somebody else in the regular civilian world. Like,
shout out to Marcus. Hey, I'm not ignoring anybody, but I'm shouting out vets first. Shout out to Marcus, former Marine. Shout out to you, Marcus. Thanks for being here. But thank you all. But military comes first today.
But yeah, like, and it's like that. Like the only, like, most of how it operates, and that's why I tell everybody, like, the army is just like its own little community. It's like it has its pros and cons, especially if you go in there younger or if you go in there older. Because I've seen both sides of the spectrum, and I've seen it go well, and I've seen it not go so well. But it's like its own little community. Like we have our PX, or well, our PX is basically in the regular world for y'all Walmart. We call it a PX, its own post. We have
tax free.
We have when somebody say they go into the six on post, the liquor store. Like we have our own community there. Like we have restaurants on post. We have our mall. We have our grocery store. Like we have all that. It's just different things. It's its own little community. The thing is, when you go in there young and you haven't experienced life, you get so indoctrinated with that community, and it's like you're so protected. Like you don't learn real life. Like I've seen people go in there when they're younger, and then when they get out and they might go get a regular job, they start talking to them about taking breaks. Like you can only take them at a certain time. Your lunch is only 30 minutes. Like you insurance, like, you know, like pay like other insurance and stuff, and they just like, man, it's overwhelming. And it, like, even like, you know, and like getting paid like every Friday or every other Friday, like not just like the Army 1st and 15th. It's like, you know, they don't know, it's like a culture shock. And then I've seen when people go in there a little bit older and they've lived some life, they're like, why do I have to do this way? And I know it can work this way, because that's just the way I'm telling you. And me coming in so young and then transitioning to be an officer so young, a lot of my soldiers, especially my NCOs, was older than me. But I never, and I've seen a lot of this with officers when they get the butter bar on or whatever it is for different, because I know some commanders, like I know like Navy, they have like, well, anyway, let's not go down that rabbit hole where everybody's insignia look different. It's like they get that big head. One thing I wasn't gonna do, I was gonna remain humble. I need your help. Teach me, tell me, because I don't want to fuck it up. Like that was my biggest thing. I did not want to mess up, because I would ask in a second. I'm like, all right, show me what I'm supposed to do, what I'm supposed to say. Me and my NCO to this day is like, I think pretty much all my soldiers, we still tight, because I'm gonna make sure you good. I'm gonna take care of you, because I know you're gonna take care of me. And I actually got in trouble one time because I had got a new executive officer. I was still at company level, but my battalion executive officer, which he's the second in command for like
civilian.
I'm about to break it down.
Civilian terms, please.
So this is okay. You got your CEO and the president of the company. So that the CEO would be your lieutenant colonel. That's at the battalion. That's at the top. Like that's the top floor of the building. Boom. Then your XO would be like your president of the company, second in command. Both of them at the top. Now I'm a manager, so that's when I say company level. Like I'm one of the senior not a senior, but the managers. And then my NCOs, my non-commissioned officers under me, that's the supervisors. And then all the rest of y'all part of the team. Y'all in the squad, y'all part of the team. But so he had called me in his office one day, and then he said, "I gotta talk to you." He said he had messaged me, but I looked at it, but I ain't messaging him back because he was like, "Hey, can you come to my office?" So I thought I was in trouble, so I was trying to figure out what I did before I went over there. And then he just called me. He was just like, Wells. He was like, "Come to my office right now." And I was just like, God damn. Because he was cool, but he was just like really like he was by the book. And so I came in there, I was like, "Sir," and he was like, "Sit down." He was like, "You know something I find very interesting," because it was time for my review too. And I was just like, "What's that?" He was like, "You be around here and you don't say nothing when people say dumb stuff." And I was like, "Huh?" So I'm trying to figure out what he's saying. He was like, "You don't never check none of your fellow officers." And I was like, "About what? What happened?" He said, why don't anybody know that you was former enlisted and you already know this stuff, but you just let them look dumb? I said, "Because they don't listen to me." And then he was just like, "What you mean they don't listen to you?" I was like, "I'm a black female. I'm on my shit. I know what I'm doing. But all these young white dudes, they don't listen to me." So I stopped telling them. I was like, "So you just gonna let them?" And he said, "You gonna let them fall in their face?" I said, "They gotta learn." And I left it at that. But he was mad that he was like, "You know this stuff. You was enlisted before. You did this job, this job, this job. So you know all this. But why you ain't helping them?" I said, "I tried."
I was going to ask, my next question was going to be, I'm going to just be real. As a black female, because there's the black and there's the female.
Yep.
I was an E1, E2, E3. I ain't had no rank. I didn't work with females. Everybody was a male. And I will say this, I didn't experience racism in the military. Favoritism and stupid stuff, yes. Race, I didn't. But I was only E1, E2. I was at the bottom. So it didn't matter no way. And I was 20 years old. I turned 20 in July. I was out in October. But for you as an officer, which is a high level, people actually making some money, people making major decisions. Mm-hmm. Did you experience racism, favoritism, or feminism, patriarchy, any of the above?
I wouldn't say racism so much. I think it was like feminism for sure. And then
and did you get it from women and men or just men?
No, I got it from women and men, but I feel like most of it wasn't. I was lucky enough, like where I was, it was 3 of us. It was 3 black female officers, and we kind of like helped each other out. But it was when it came from everybody else, all the other female officers, white females, they would always critique us a little bit harder. And I think that was like a form of I'll say this. I think it kind of for white female officers, I think it was feminism and racism because they always was expecting us to fail, which we never failed. We always.
So you're meaning that white females, mm-hmm. females treated other females bad in the military.
Yeah.
Oh.
But they would word it or put it like, "I just want you to be the best." But it's a way to mentor me without belittling me or diminishing me. Like if I have to present something to, say, higher headquarters, like if I have to go from like this franchise where I'm at, and now I'm going to the headquarters. If you're gonna help me and mentor me, you don't want me to fail. If you know I have to present something, then what you do is you bring me in prior to that meeting. And be like, "Okay, show me what you're gonna do. Let me see what you're gonna say. Let's rehearse." It's not let's get to this meeting and then you shooting off questions or doing something I'm not prepared for. That's not how you mentor somebody. That's how you punish somebody, embarrass somebody. And that's why we always had to be on our toes. But as far as like the men in the military, it's like they didn't know how we would react to certain things. With me, I have 7 brothers. So I'm kind of desensitized to, like, I'm used to like, boys club or whatever, like none of that bothered me. But I think they were more afraid that if they said something or did something, that it would bother you or you would get angry or upset about something. Like I would say I get upset over stupid stuff or stuff that don't make sense. Cause I'm a real simple person to get along with. I just need something for whatever we're doing. I just need it to make sense. If it don't make sense, and then I'm trying to make it make sense, and then you like so hell bent on doing this dumb stuff, then I'm just like, okay, you know what, whatever. But I was never that yelling, I'm gonna go back and forth with you. I'll let you have it. I'm gonna let you fall in your face. Like I was never Like, you know, but I think they were afraid of all of us becoming that angry black woman if we spoke up. But like how I'm talking to you now, like I think I yelled at maybe 2 people ever the whole time. One of them was about to probably cut his fucking hand off, just like messing with a vehicle, and I don't even know what he was trying to do. And I was just like, and I yelled, I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, you dumb. And then my NCO, he was already over, he was running over there. I don't know what he was doing, but the vehicle's on, and I don't know what he was doing. I was like, bro, like, I'm like, y'all gotta stop doing dumb stuff. He's like, well, he was about to turn it off.
I can say I experienced, like Tommy B's not, he's not over here. He was Navy. He was Navy. If y'all seen him in these spaces, I was Army. 18, 19, 20-year-olds do some stupid stuff. Just like in college, but they still 19, 22, reckless. People are still people. And in the military, putting the uniform doesn't mean disciplined. No, it's some people that do some stuff. Men's, women's, married, single. Yeah. I'm not gonna get into the marriages and all that. I ain't gonna get into that.
No. Like I literally had a soldier that had went out one day, and then like it had to be and I'm glad it was the night that I was on duty, because if I wasn't on duty, I saved his career. This dude coming back on post. I'm on duty, but like the officers could leave. So I was like, I had bought them pizza and stuff. I always took care of whoever was on duty with me. And duty is just like somebody, like if you call the company, somebody's always there to answer the phone. So that's what like your duty is 24 hours, like you do a day, 24 hours. And you know, you just there all day. You get the next day off because you was up 24 hours. But that's your job for the day, is just to be there to answer the phone if somebody called, basically, or if somebody needs something or whatever. And dude that went out, he came back and he ran the gate. And then at this time we had the gate where the thing go down. You wasn't just.
Was he drunk? Was he drunk?
Drunk. Ran the damn gate. Then went to the barracks. Then double park, jumped out, and go run to his room. No lie. As soon as he ran the gate, like everybody know his car too. Like he extra stupid. Like so. He ran the gate, and one of the gate guards, he had my number. And so he knew his car. He called me. He was like, LT. He said the guy's name. He just ran the gate. I said, I know you fucking lying. He was like, no. And I didn't stay that far from post. Like I stayed right outside the other gate. So I just had to go around, and I met like everybody there. And I'm calling. And then somebody had called the first sergeant. I'm like, all right, y'all, this is what we gonna do. I downplayed this so much because I'm like, why would you do this when I'm on duty? Nothing ain't supposed to happen when I'm on duty. Now I'm gonna have to talk to somebody about this all day tomorrow.
If that was me, he's on his own.
But no, I had to write the report. I had to do everything. Like I had to, and I was just like, I was like, what happened? And so the first sergeant came there, and then he talking to me, and we talking about how we gonna explain this to. I was like, well, we just gotta say what happened, but. Like, and I was like, but what happened though? And so the gate guard was like, this is what happened. And then he telling me, because they had to stay at the gate, so they had to call the MPs. Like I made it to the barracks, which is the apartments, before the MPs got there. That's how close I stayed to post. So I'm there, and I was just like, bro. And then so like I didn't like when I saw his car, it's double parking. So I just went up to his room. He ain't even bothered locking the door, and I walked in his room. I was just like, you got to be kidding me. And then he was just standing there, but he was standing there like, you knew he was drunk. You know how you stand somewhere, but you think you're standing still, you swinging. And he looking at me, and I'm looking at him. And I'm just like, bro, like, he was trying to stand straight, but he was like, and I told him, I said, you know you're in trouble, right? And you know what this dude told me? I had to pee. And I was just like I didn't. He said I had to pee. So, I mean,
ladies and gentlemen, this is not a representation of our entire military. But we do have 1, 2, 3 doofuses at 18, 19.
He was
And
19.
those of you who I might send this video to,
He wasn't supposed to be drinking and driving, then ran the gate, then technically eluded the police because he ran up to. They wasn't there yet, but he knew. Like, come on, man.
yeah, ladies and gentlemen, especially people who live in military towns who've seen them fighting in the clubs and fighting at Virginia Beach. And unfortunately, every person in the military is not so disciplined and not so whatever.
But
I've done a couple of dumb things when I was in, but this type of stuff, no, just no.
Man, but no, it like so it ended up he got what they did was because technically I think so what happened was so he had to come back from in town. So it was an officer that was like kind of following him and had suspicion, but he didn't commit anything till he was on post. So anything that was civilian, he was lucky that he actually made it on post. So nothing happened on the civilian side. So he did have to he got an Article 15, which Article 15 is like when you get charged with something in regular court in the civilian world. So he got a by the time they actually got him to where he could do all the testing and stuff, he tested below or whatever. So he got the underage drinking. He had to pay for the thing to be fixed. Gate. Yeah, the gate to be fixed. He got 2 months, half months pay taken away. He had he was on extra duty for like a long time. It was a long time. He had extra duty for a while. So he didn't have no free weekends or evenings.
Oh yeah, yes, the military will dock your pay.
And he was confined to post for 90 days. I know that. Like he could not go out in town for 90 days. But yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna shift and go into some military benefits. I'm kind of rusty at it because, like I told y'all, I got out a long time ago.
Yeah. So I would say the benefits are, I mean,
I'm gonna share a screen. I'm gonna go into, and if you ain't seen this, you're not gonna like that they're actually getting paid. When I was in, we weren't making no money. They just wasn't. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the pay. Actually, I'm struggling with the screen. Give me a minute once I figure this out. Okay, so I go to present.
Look, I'll go
share screen. And okay, this one, military. How do I make this bigger? Oh, do it from
I'm gonna say you can do it from Yeah,
this is all public information.
This is the second biggest pay raise they've had, like overall. I think the last one was like they had one that was like 6.7 or something like that.
Yeah, when I was in, we wasn't making no money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just do the lower ranking. When you first go in the military, you're E1 per month, and you get paid on the 1st and the 15th. $2,000, actually $1,865 per month. That's only for 4 months.
Usually that's after basic and stuff too. So you're not paying for where you stay at your food.
By the time you come out of basic, you'll be making $2,000 a month as an E1. E2, you get automatically in 6 months. E3, you get automatically in another 6. Mm-hmm. So if you're lazy or just normal, it'll take you a year to get to E3. Mm-hmm. E3, that's $2,377 a month. Now they pay for your food. You usually stay on base. This is just money in your pocket. You don't want to know what they were paying when I was in. It was bad. It wasn't this. But this is an 18, 19-year-old. 2 to 3 years in the military, you should probably be an E4. Mm-hmm. In this level, you can't see it at the top, but it's above 2 years. $2,768 a month. You can afford to buy a car. You can afford to save money. You can afford to possibly put money away. Mm-hmm. This is a 20-year-old. $2,768 a month. That's 30-something thousand. That's when you deploy. If you just go somewhere 30 days, 2 weeks in the field, while you're out, you're saving money. Yep. Those of you who like the Navy, they go out 3 months, 6 months at a time. During that time, you can't really be spending any money. So when you come back, you'll have 6 months worth of this pay sitting in your bank account. Let's say you blew 30% of it. $2,000 times 6 months. That's $12,000 in cash. That's not bad for a 20-year-old. When you're a 22-year-old, maybe you get to E4, E5, 23, 24. And I'm saying you win in 17, 18. 30 something $100. What is this? $33.65 a month. This you can look up on your own. This is public information. This is 20 something year olds. $33.65 a month. That's over 40,000. E7, E8, 10, 15 years in, E6, you're at 50,000 something dollars a year. Plus, if you get married, they pay you more money. They pay enough money for you to actually afford an apartment or a mortgage. They also pay money for you and your family to eat. I don't know the numbers, do your own research, but this is just base pay that the military pays, aside from other benefits, which I'll cover a couple more. People say, I remember going to the military recruiter and he asked me this question. Would I rather pay to go to college for them to get a degree and then still have to look for my own job? Or would I rather go in the military and have them pay me to train me? He was right, I was wrong, because I got out the military and I went to college, racked up some loans, and then I can't lie, them parties was rocking. It was worth it for that. But I still had to go find my own job and everything. Now, we weren't getting paid when I was in. Now they're actually getting paid. But my friends who stayed in weren't having money problems, weren't scrambling with resumes, none of that stuff. Some retired in 20 years, 21, whatever, $4,000 or $5,000 a month. By the time they retired, after 20 years, you get 50% of, 50% of the highest pay that you were making, something like that. About $2,500 a month for the rest of your life, retiring at 38, 39 years old. The other thing I'm going to pull up, disability. People get hurt. Some people scam. I'm not going to suggest you do that.
Yeah.
But you hear all these 20%, 30%. This is how it works. Depending on how injured you are or what type of injuries you may have suffered while you're in the military.
And if you have dependents or not.
Right. I'll just keep it at the base pay. I'm struggling in my technology game ain't right, so I don't know how to blow this and make this picture bigger. 10%, small minor injuries, $171 a month for the rest of your life. 20%, $338.49 for the rest of your life. Oh, when you buy a house, you don't have to pay closing costs.
No down payment, no closing costs. You don't have to do mortgage insurance because the VA covers that for you.
Yep.
Oh, you gotta pay
30%. This is just the veteran alone. $524 a month. You get preference when you apply for government jobs. You get to go to the front of the list for federal jobs. Plus $524. Might be a little bit of money, but when you're talking about retiring, investing, or a car payment,
I'm gonna say that car note.
Up to 60%, $1,361 a month. This is like this is different. Now, it ain't free. This is people who do get injured. There's people who worry about what if this happens? What if I get hurt? What if my uncle got a bad back, bad neck, bad leg?
And then your health care is paid for too.
The bigger money, people are 100% disabled. I won't ask Mel to disclose what her rating is. It's her choice.
Shit, I'm 100%, big dog.
Okay. You can't see this number, but it's $38.77 a month. That's about $45,000 a year. That's a whole salary.
And it's
you can have a house husband, tax free.
It's tax free, and that's just with the veteran alone. Because as you add on dependents, like you get something for that too. And then with me being 100%, my kids can go to college for free, and they can get benefits like a stipend every month under what they call Chapter 35, which is dependents and spouses of 100% disabled veteran. So, because my ex-husband, he went to school and he got his school paid for, and he got a stipend under my Chapter 35.
So, longer story short, let's just take me. I was in the Army for 2 years. I got out. I went under what's called the Army College Fund, was connection to what they call the GI Bill. I was looking to go Army Reserves. There was a brochure laying in the hallway that said go active duty for 2 years, get $26,000 for college. I ended up taking that program.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, when you get out the military, they have other, aside from the money you make, which you should be saving some of it, aside from if you become disabled, injured, which they have medical care while you're in, medical care while you're out if there's injury. I have light injuries. I'm a 0% veteran, which means I don't get any money. However, I get the disability card. I get the 10% off at Nike and all them other stores. I get what's called a VA loan, which means I get, when I do a mortgage, I'm poor. I don't have a house. I live in the back of a car. I might have a house. I don't know. If I were to buy a house, I get the best mortgage rates, and I don't have to pay PMI. I forgot what it stands for. Some kind of scam
Private
insurance.
mortgage insurance.
Yeah, it's a scam anyway. I don't have to pay it because I'm a veteran.
Yep.
Depending on what state you live in. Some you can be a 30%, 60%, and you get handicap plates. You get to ride the toll roads for free. Texas, Florida, each state has different rules. When I lived in Georgia, I had handicap plates.
You get free, like you don't have to pay the parking meter either, as long as you got the tags. When you have to, like, it's paid parking, you don't have to pay the parking meter either.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of nickel and dime stuff. Like I still get my 10% offs here and there just for being a veteran. But from 0 to 100%, I get nothing every month. Mel, extra $4,000 a month, which is a whole salary. So she can now look for a house husband. All right, I'm gonna cover this. This is another one. You do your own research. GoArmy.com, careers and jobs. I'm looking at random jobs. I can see it, but my technology game ain't good enough to blow it up.
I can kind of see it. It's not bad.
This diver. Now, just be real. Don't nobody give away no money for free. You don't just show up to the Army and they give you the max bonus because you were there. You have to qualify. Yeah. Be physically fit, which is something I promote anyway. Get good test scores. The test ain't that hard. Be smarter than the person you're left and you're right, and you should be fine. And don't break the law. And don't be psychopathic, medicated, and smoked up on weed. And you can qualify to go in the military. It's not for everybody, but for those who do. There are positions that you can go in. There's all kind of bonuses because most people can't pass the test. They're overweight, big pignocerous slobs, or they lazy. They just won't do it. So there's a desperate need for people to go in the military. Men's and women's. Diver, $15,000 bonus. Geospatial engineer, I don't know what that is, but it's paying $15,000 bonus. Bridgewater crew member, $40,000. Special forces engineers, trust me, most of y'all ain't ready for that. I ain't gonna talk.
I work with some special forces. It's a whole different. They different.
This is one for those I think who you have our degrees already, because they also look for officers, people who already have bachelor's degrees. Infectious disease officer, up to $200,000 bonus. Let me give you that number again. $200,000.
And it's a real bonus. It's not like it's embedded with your, and that's what everybody gets.
This is under contract.
They think it's embedded with like your other benefits. Like it's $200,000, but it's part of this medical, part of this education, whatever. No, it's two separate things. Your bonus is your bonus. Like you'll get it in parts, but you're gonna get that whole bonus. Like they're gonna pay half of it at this time, then they're gonna pay the other half after this time or whatever. But that's your bonus. You still get all those other benefits. And that's the big thing, because you just with being active duty, you get tuition assistance. So if you go in and list it and you say you want to take classes, all you have to do is submit like where you want to go to school. You fill out the application, whatever. They approve it, then they pay for it. Like you don't have to take out loans or nothing, and you could still be on active duty, going to work every day, taking one class at a time. The Army gonna pay for it. When you get out, they have what they call it vocational rehabilitation, which is basically vocation. Getting you ready.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to education after this because I need some help because I don't understand it anymore.
Okay.
I'm outdated. And then I see we got an ex Special Forces Green Beret in the chat. So just as unrealistic, the people who can jump out of planes and take a brick and find Saddam Hussein and all that other stuff, the stuff you see on TV, we got one of those dudes.
I work with a lot of them. That's why I say they different. Like
Mandrell was in the chat.
They different. Like
yeah, I'm gonna drop the link in a little bit. I'm gonna just cover some of the benefits. I'm gonna drop the link, then say some closing stuff, some questions. But back into the benefits. Signal and intelligence jobs. People say, well, no, they only giving money to the people who want to go blow up in wars. Okay. Signal and intelligence. Foreign language specialist, $40,000 bonus. So that means they got to train you to learn another language, right?
Yep.
They got to teach you that. And knowing another language, being bilingual, is a benefit for life.
Yep.
As well as it pays on the civilian side.
Yes.
Human intelligence collector, $50,000. IT specialist. This means they train you. $10,000 bonus. Cyber operations specialist, $7,500 bonus.
And that translates into the civilian world.
Easy. Chemical, biological, and radiological nuclear specialist. It's really not as difficult as it seems.
I was going to say that.
Job that I should have took when I went in, and I picked something dumb because it's useful on the civilian side.
Yep. It's not hard.
Up to $20,000 bonus. Trey, yes, this is a military commercial. Oh, hold on. I got a question. This may be a question that shouldn't be answered. For those people who are, those people who are kicked out of the armed forces for not taking many of them received a letter asking them. I can't really speak on it.
What's the Fauci ouchie?
I'll just say.
Oh, is that COVID?
Yeah, the crack thing. I don't think you can say that word. I can't speak to it, but I just give my opinion. You got what control that you do have, and you got what you control that you don't. If you're deploying or whatever, you're deploying. If they change the policy, it is what it is. Part of it, you're signing your contract, and you got to give the people the years that they asked for. I didn't like that it's some stuff I can't say or I won't say public, but I really want to answer your question. But also, I got out a long time ago. I don't know how it is now or what they were doing.
So I answer the question. So when you sign that contract, what you become, though, and it's a lot of people don't want to say it, you become government's property. You basically signing this saying that I would, like when you swear in and say I'm going to protect the people of the United States from foreign and domestic, blah, 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 all that other stuff. So you're basically committing to that. And so you're committing to whatever the Army tells you to do, as long as it's not immoral, then you do it. However, a lot of people try to get away from taking the Fauci ouchie by claiming religious, it's against their religion, but it was not established when they first signed that contract. And that's why it's so important. And they ask you, like when you're going through the process to get in, they will ask you multiple times your religion. They'll make you say it. It's on your dog tags. They will ask you about your religion. They're asking you so they can have it documented in several different places from several different sources at several different times of your career. Like even like they'll have one day they'll have like 100% well, I forgot how they call it, but anyway, 100%. Everybody come in and they check your ID to make sure it's correct, everything's right. They'll check to make sure you have a valid driver's license, and they'll check your dog tags, and they'll say, "What's on your dog tags? What does it say?" And they'll go over and make sure they're correct, and you have to sign off on it. So a lot of people was like, "Well, it's against my religion." It's like, but no, you said here and here and here and here and here. You was a Christian non-denominational. Now you're this, but you never informed anybody that it changed, and this was the last time that you certified that this was still your religion. Because they can make dog tags on the spot. So it wasn't like, oh, if I say I changed something, then I can't have my dog tags right now. No, they can make them right there. So but I think, and that's just like even with the don't ask, don't tell. So you have to look at it like if you have any job in the real world, if they make a rule to say that you can't smoke while you at work, because I know like people that work in certain restaurants, you can't smoke when you at work. If you go smoke, then you're violating the rule. They have every grounds to like let you go. The only thing is, In the civilian world, they can fire you and go home. The Army is a process, but when they say they're gonna do something, they're gonna do it. Like they might say, okay, we're gonna put you out, especially like with the don't ask, don't tell, because that was a big thing when I was in.
Yeah, I don't know what it is now.
No, it's gone. It's gone. Like it's just it's still like looked at weird, but you are what you are. But I think they still doing that debating about the transgender thing. I think that's still a big topic. But yeah.
Yeah, this is a good question right here too. Talking about can you alter your contract and alter and negotiate terms? Technically, no. But what you can do is this. If you're in it's re-enlistment time or certain times, they're trying to get you to stay in. You can have better conversations, talk to the people in the unit. Sometimes it's not like a hookup, but you can find out more information. There might be something that they can do to keep you in. Like make sure you stay at this station or get 6 months to go to school. When I was getting out, they looked at my scores, damn near perfect. Mm-hmm. And they were coming and hunting for me. They were offering me stuff that the blockheads who could barely pass the test weren't getting offered. But I was like, look, I don't want to be in the military. I want out. I'm getting out and I'm going to college. And I actually did what I said I was going to do. Then here come ROTC. You did 2 years? You got a 3.5 GPA? Come see me Monday. I'll give you a scholarship. Yep. Sorry, but thank you, but no thank you.
They want to go be an officer, man.
It's not negotiating at the table. But other thing I'll say is if you know somebody 18, 20, whatever they say they're signing up for, don't listen to the recruiter's mouth. Check them papers.
Check that paper.
Check those papers. He said I was going to come in at an E7. He lied. He said that I could pick where I wanted to go. He lied. Check them papers.
So it's like with me, hold
on, let me put this up as a response. Trey's comment.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about Chris' comment. So it's not necessarily a negotiation, but the job I was going in, it was simple admin. Like you don't have to have a high score. Like I had a 117 on my initial test. So I had a 117. So I could have pretty much any job in the military. Yeah, but they told me if I didn't want to go for this job, if I go for this job to this certain unit, which it was a certain place. It's like, if you go here with that score, then we can give you this bonus because this unit is in critical need. So they do your assignments based on the need of the Army, but I was going, it was like, they're in critical need. If you go to somewhere and they because they can look and see where people need to go, a critical need place, then yes, they can offer you like money because they have money. It's just like in different places. So it's a way you can negotiate, but sometimes you might have to be in. But like I know some people be like, I want to stay here for like they might have kids that are in high school getting ready to graduate, they getting ready to re-enlist. I want to keep my job, I want to stay here. So that's what I want, otherwise I'm getting out. Then they can finagle stuff to get you to stay there. So it's things that you can have worked out. But of course it's checks and balances or whatever. Like the person that's re-enlisting you or your recruiter, whatever, they might say, okay, well, we'll see what happens. Then they have to talk to everybody that's over HR, the big HR. Then that still has to get approved by the big officers that's way up there, like not the Pentagon, but I'm just going to use Pentagon for example. You know, so it's everybody has a right off on it pretty much, but it can happen. But it's not like in civilian, like you can just like, I want this, and this. And then like, okay, you hired, we want you. It's like a whole thing, and it has to make sense. Like your kid being in high school and you not want to move like their junior, senior year, they play sport, whatever side story, or you got a sick parent because sometimes you can get like, so things happen. But yeah, back to the trade question. Oh, okay, I see it.
Yeah, you can.
See a manpower.
Yeah, what I can't tell you is I won't tell you. You can go in the military. You can get everything you want. No. They need people for a reason. I personally signed up. I was at Fort Lewis, Washington for 2 years. I didn't deploy, go to war, none of that stuff. It was supposedly one of the best duty stations. That's what I got. Then I came home. Some people got sent to Korea, Fort Drum, and the horrible places.
I
Some
love
people
Korea.
deployed and went to no man's land and hated it. Some people, I know a female friend of mine did all 20 of her years stationed in the same place in Norfolk, Virginia. All 20, 21.
She
Yep.
just moved around units. But you know what? There some of the bigger, higher units,
Ended
they
up
do
doing
it like they
IT.
just move you to the
They
other
wanted her,
side.
they needed her. She stayed
Yeah.
in Norfolk all 20 years, raised her daughter, she's married, raised her daughter, same station. Never deployed. How? I think she deployed one time.
But you know,
Some people, yeah,
I've
but
seen that
there's
where
no. Oh,
I've
go
seen
ahead.
it where some people are moved from like this company or battalion on this side of the post, and they'll just move to the other side of post, but they at the same one, but technically it's a different unit, but you ain't go nowhere. You just went down the street, like so it
Yeah,
does.
but just it's not a buffet. It ain't the civilian world. If you get orders, sometimes you're gonna get greased. It's the Saturday, it's your anniversary, it's the whatever, and you got duty. You going to the fit. I mean, if NBA players got to play days on Christmas, then military sometimes it's just gonna be what it is. And I'm point lying to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cover one more benefit. I was gonna pull it up, but it's gonna look like a mess. Can you tell us about the GI Bill? Like, I'll tell you mine, the old one.
Mm.
I got out the military. I didn't get what's called tuition assistance, where because you were a military person. Hey Trey, you can hit the link and come up if you
I
got
will say,
anything
but
to say.
you can do TA while you on active duty only. You can't do it after.
Yeah,
Like,
when I was in, they only paid 75%. We had to pay 25%. But
yeah,
nowadays, while you're in the military, you want to go to college, they'll pay for it.
yep. You don't
When you
get a
get
stipend,
out,
extra money, but they pay for your classes. You don't have to pay anything.
yeah.
You just gotta go to class.
When you get out, the way it was when I got out in 2000, spring '01, I started school. I got $900 a month as long as I was enrolled. Welcome to the stage. You missed all the women's talk about military women. We're just talking about general military because there's some men's and women's. I might send it to some 17-year-olds, 20-year-olds, just some of the basic benefits of the military. Welcome to the stage, veteran, Air Force, right? Trey, and you're muted.
What's going on, y'all?
What's good? Welcome to the stage. Question. Oh, there's a question I forgot to ask earlier. Mel and Trey, but I'm gonna start with Trey. Would you let your little cousin, your daughter, female, join the military? Yes or no, and why or why not?
Yes. And because the benefits outweigh the cons. You can get a lot more out of the military than they can really get out of you if you play it right, if you do it correctly. If you don't do it correctly, then you'll feel like they got something out of you. But if you do it correctly, you listen to people who've been there, done that, and you can get a lot from the military. It can actually set you up to be a homeowner, to get a free education. There's a lot of positives to get certifications. And if you play this right, you can get the certification that you need on the outside while you're in the military. So there's a lot of positives. And as you guys detailed earlier, just because you sign up does not mean you're going to war. That's not what that means. So you may
I
not
didn't
even
go to war.
That's what I'm saying. You may not even touch sand at all, ever. So there's no guarantee that you do that. So yeah, I honestly encourage most men to go because most of them need the level of discipline, and it doesn't hurt the women. It doesn't hurt the women to go either. Is what I was going to say. They can
Men's
go as
and
well.
women.
It ain't gonna hurt them either. They can go and set themselves up for a better future as well if they want to.
Mel, your daughter, starting with the daughter because it's Women's Day. Well, would you let your daughter go? Then would you let your son go to the military? Would you encourage it? How do you feel about it? Or your little cousins?
Yeah, I would. I would. I wouldn't say. I would say weigh your options. Like when you actually do take because the military certification test overall, it's like, straight across the board. And then you'll have different recruiters talking to you. I would just say weigh your options, but I definitely would because like when I did retire and like I was working a civilian job and they're talking to me about benefits packages like your medical, dental, and all that other stuff. And I really was looking at it. And then I think it was I just had my son when I got out and I was married. And I looked at it for like family, for like medical, it's like $400 a month. And I was like, I'm retired, so I have my medical. But I'm like, people is really paying this, and that's not even like your dental and your vision. That's extra. And I was just like, damn, that's fucked up, So I'm just thinking about like Trey said, the benefits overall. Like I'm a homeowner with a great interest rate. I have, my medical paid for. My kids can go to school. I can still go to school. My husband was able to go to school. Like I get a check every month. So my regular job, the regular stuff I do, stacked on top of what I already get, because you saw what it was with just a veteran alone. It's 38. I got dependents. So because my nieces and my nephews, they've been wards of the state, because I was raising them, they were living with me since they was practically born. So I got dependents. So they're covered. They got their medical. They can go to school, or like I'm trying to encourage them to actually go to the military, because they about to be, one of them, she 16, she just had a baby. So I was like, yeah, whenever you get on up there, next year you need to be thinking about it, because why not? You got a baby. I ain't saying that the person that you got a baby with, he ain't shit, but kind of is. So you might be doing this by yourself.
Well, I know single parents that went in the military. If you're 18, 19, you're a single parent. You now have to live off base, which they will pay you for.
Yep.
And they give BAH and the food allowance. Which one? BAH, BAQ, which one is that?
BAS.
BAS, sustenance.
So aside from the couple thousand, what I showed y'all earlier, if you're a single parent, they actually pay money for you to eat, and they also pay money for you to live.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from
that's BAH with a dependent rate, live off date.
Yeah, BAH is to live off base. BAQ, because even if you stay on base, they give you what they call BAQ, which is basic allowance for quarters, and that's just your little extra money, because technically when you stay on post, like they add it by how much it'll be like to stay off post. So you get a couple extra $100, even if you stay on post, in addition to, so like to buy like little food and stuff, whatever. So it works a little bit different, but you do still get a little bit of extra. Well, it's not a little, I know it's like around about $400-500.
It's more than they're getting now. How about that? Yeah. Right now they're getting nothing. Nothing.
So like I said, it's way more benefits. And then when you shop on post, you're not paying taxes. Everything tax free. So I know people that be like, when I was living in Virginia, it was a lady, an older lady, and I used to, help her out sometimes. And then she'd be like, well, when you go back on post, I want to go with you so I can get some stuff. And I'd take her to the grocery store with me, because it would be cheaper for her. And, she was living on, I think, Social Security. But she was a nice lady. She used to cook, cook for me and stuff. But I'd take her every now and again, so it has its benefits. Like you say, even 10% off at Nike. I can go to the Nike outlet, which is already like 50-60% off, and I get my military discount on top of that. And then don't let it be friends and family. Boom, 35% off something that's already on sale.
Plus 10%. Yeah.
But if it's friends and family, it's 15%, and you can stack your discounts.
Veterans Day weekend, Under Armour, Nike, all of them give 20%.
Oh, yep.
I'm just telling. I'm just a regular veteran. I did 2 years, in at 18, out at 20.
Yep.
But yes, I have a biased opinion, though I'm the host. But here's a better question for Trey and Mel. How would you compare? How would you compare a 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old going to college versus going into the military? If they want to do something, possibly tech, possibly simple like medical, simple profession, or they don't know what they want to do, how would you compare?
I would say, honestly, go to the Army and pick a job that you think you might be interested in. They're going to train you for it. If you don't like that job, then whenever it's time to get out, and then go to college and let them pay for what you really want to do, because they still going to pay for it, because you'll still have a GI Bill.
What you say, Trey? And then I'm going to get into the GI Bill. But I'm outdated. I need y'all's help on that.
My advice would be to find a job that you think would be fun. That's what I did. I found a job that I thought would be fun. I thought that working with dogs would be fun. and that's what I did.
You were a K9?
Yeah, I was K9.
Oh no!
And no, it's the best decision I ever made. Working with dogs was fun, and I got DOD certified, so I can go work anywhere at any time, and it's a lifetime certification. So again, I told you, certifications you don't have to pay for. And what I would say is that if you get this job and you don't enjoy it, you don't like it, then study while you're in for your 4 years for the career that you want when you get out, and try to get your degree while you're in, or at least knock out as many classes while you're in towards whatever it is that you want to do on your way out. That way you don't tap into your full GI Bill. You may need that later if you want to get a master's or something like that.
You don't even have to use your GI Bill anymore. If you're on active duty, you don't have to touch the GI Bill. You can let that sit until you get out and just use tuition assistance. Like, they make it so easy now. Like, I'm telling you, like, you could be a professional student. Like, once you get out, you can be a professional student for a while, because aside from GI Bill, you can stretch that out. But you can also, they have vocational rehab, which they'll pay you. Like, if you find a job that, it has something to do, like, if you have a rating too, though. Like, if you have a rating and say the job you was doing when you was in was, you did combat arms or field artillery, right? And now you have 10% hearing loss. So you can't do that. You can't be an armorer or whatever, or in a civilian world. They'll pay you to go do another, like, to go to school to do something else. And they give you, like, I don't know how many months. It's like 36
months.
36 months. They give you 36 months. So, and then they're going to give you a stipend. They're going to pay for all your classes. So, I mean,
when I got out, they didn't pay for the classes. I went in old military.
You can do voc rehab first, and then after you're done with voc rehab, then you can still tap into your GI Bill. Like I said, if you play it right, you could be like a student. Like, you can get everything you need plus some. Just go to school to go to school.
when I decided I was going to go into law enforcement, I actually used my GI Bill while I was in the academy, because it counts as school. So I was getting paid by the police department, and I was getting the housing benefit from the GI Bill. So I was essentially getting 2 checks a month while I was in the academy. Listen, like I said, the military is what you make of it. If you want to make it out to be something great, you can hustle the hell out of them and get everything you want and be set within 4 years. And if you don't, here's the thing that I did. If you don't get what you need, you can always extend for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Like, I signed an initial 6-year contract, and I didn't do everything that I needed to do. Remember I said I negotiated in a bonus? A part of my negotiation was giving them an extra 24 months. So I gave them an extra 24 months. I got a higher bonus, and I was able to pick a base that was outside of the United States, so I didn't have to pay the taxes on the bonus when I got it. There's all kinds of ways to do this if you know what you're doing. I would say to anybody, when you're in the military, you need to make friends with people who work in admin and finance. You make friends with people who work in admin. I just so happen to be boning one of the chicks in admin, and that's how I got what I needed, right? Like, she told me when my orders was coming, because she saw them before I did, right? But you make friends with people in admin, you make friends with people in finance, and they'll tell you all the loopholes of how to put more money in your pocket and how to use your benefits properly. A lot of people don't know you can use your VA benefit while you're in the military. They never told us that. But there were people getting house hacking in the military, setting up their real estate business in the military. They was doing it while he was in the military. And I was like, dang, I wish I would have known that.
Yeah, now stuff is public. YouTube, all kind of stuff is out. I'm probably going to do a part 2 to this. It's going to be in doing this, I'm probably going to do a part 2.
Yeah. But I think
I understand the go ahead.
No, I want to say, going back to as far as like the women thing, I think so. I'm not going to say that it's for everybody or like all women. Like, what I'm saying is, I hate that women they feel like they have to be deterred from it because of some kind of way. I will say this though, it's not always rainbows and daisies now, because you do have like men that are immoral. Somebody might try something, whatever. You always have to protect yourself. But that's the thing with, like, when you're going in, especially when you're young, it's just important to be smart and surround yourself with good people and take care of each other, But you just have to watch your interactions, but that's no different in real life or college. Like if you want to get out, graduate high school, go to college, still have to do that. You have to watch yourself, your surroundings, watch the people around you, men and women these days. You never know who it might be. And it might be somebody that don't like you, that you something like that. So it's just important to just make good decisions and stuff. But I wouldn't say it's something that you should shy away from because you feel like it's a male thing or it's too many men or whatever. Like I worked in some units that was all male. Like I was the only female there. And I didn't got into almost physical altercation with somebody because I went to one unit. Dude was like, I was working on something. Guy gonna say, he was like, "Come on, princess," or something like that. He was like, "Oh, you don't have to do it, princess." And I looked at him. I was like, "Who are you talking to?" I think we had to move something. And
don't say those words. Men's don't say that. We covered that in another one of my videos.
And don't say I was like, "Who are you talking to?" So I got out there, did whatever we was doing. I think it was like moving some tires or something, like the big tires on the deuce and a half, the two. And then so we all had to help move him. And then he was like, "I hope you didn't break your nail, princess." I was like, "Bro, you got one more time to call me princess." And I was like, "I'm gonna smack the fuck out of you." And the people that worked around me, the other men that actually work with me every day, they was like, "Bro, just chill." And he really, later on in the day, I had forgot, he gonna come in there and like, "Hey, can you file this for me, princess?" And I mushed him in his face. So sometimes you just have to sit.
Now, Mel doesn't do well with men who flirt with her.
I got 7 brothers, so if we had to fight, we was gonna fight.
He was flirting. It was harmless.
Man, I don't care what he was doing. That's not.
Ladies and gentlemen, men's and women's. I don't care if it's civilian sector, military. Learn how to work together and what you can and can't say.
I just feel so disrespected.
Learn what you can and can't say, because you're gonna get your mouth gonna get you into something. Somebody gonna lie on you.
You would have hated being.
It's gonna be that money.
You would have hated being in the Air Force because that's how we talk to the women. Here's the thing. The issue is that even when I was a police officer, that's how we talk to the women. You have to fit in with the men because it's us that's going to come in and protect you. It's us that's going to have your back.
Trey,
he was in a condescending way, though. You got to think about it. When we getting ready to move these heavy tires or whatever, you don't have to do it. Don't worry about it. You don't have to do it, princess. You're telling me I'm capable. Then you come back, I hope you didn't break a nail. What have I done besides have a breast that makes me any different, or what have I tried to exempt myself from on the premise of being a female?
Ladies and gentlemen,
hold on,
hold on. I see this comment right here. I see this comment right here, and I'm calling a referee timeout.
No, we're not.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a show that's up here that I did, men's and women's working in the workplace together. I suggest you watch that video, but we don't do the men's versus women's. We don't do that.
That's just if I had called him if I would have called him something that was condescending or something like that. That's just the thing. I have a name, but everybody most of the time it's Wells. Call me Wells. Hell, you could have called me Private. I wouldn't have got mad because that's when I was lower enlisted too, and so. Because once I became an officer, I can't fight them, but I used to still try to fight.
Why y'all fight that hard for a PT test equivalent?
What?
Y'all never fight for equal rights on a PT test.
Trey, let me rephrase. Hold on, let me rephrase myself. We don't do men's versus the women's. Now, in conversation, yes, but we don't do men's versus women's. The men's is the women's. The men's is However, we can cover topics about men's and women's.
Control over. But yeah, I was running 13-minute 2 miles. I was doing 120 sit-ups, and I was doing 70 push-ups. So it is what it is. And that was light work.
Hey, all I know is I'm gonna leave it alone. I was gonna say a cheap shot.
I'm sorry, I still do that now. I work out twice a day now, so I can do that right now. So I can
pass the PT test with no problem, like an 18-year-old right now at 43.
Yeah, I just think this is with anybody, not just women Pacific or men Pacific. When you go into the military or any job in general, you always want to put your best foot forward. You always want to make sure you're on top of your shit. You always want to make sure that nobody can come back and say, oh, this is where you missed a step or whatever. Like, you can miss a step, just learn from it, move on, but don't just go into anything and be lazy about it. All right, Dragonfly Jones.
What up, Dragonfly Jones? I think I know who that is.
Yeah, but just don't go into
What up, Jedi Mike?
Like lack in it. Like, if you, like, when I was transportation, like, as an officer, and that's the thing, like, it's two different officers. You have your warrant officers, with that's your subject matter experts. They are like the experts on one particular field. Now, what I was a commissioned officer, which means transportation, everything transportation. That's boats, helicopters. Like, I was in the only boat battalion in the Army. I worked with, like, the Russian Army on, like, with our aircraft. I always had unique assignments, but I'm supposed to know all of this. So when I got an assignment and I knew what I was about to do, what mission was going to go on, what I did was, like I said, I was humble. So I would go to my warrant officer or my NCOs that did it before. I'm like, okay, tell me what I need to know. So when they ask me this question, I know I wouldn't retain all that. Who can retain all that? So yeah, so I mean, I just think it's like about learning from the people around you.
I'm gonna close it. Let me see. One more thing I'm gonna mention, then I'm gonna close it out. But I will probably do a part 2. I'm gonna probably put something together, give it maybe a couple weeks or a month. And I got a different idea on part 2 on joining the military. Or benefits and everything with the military. I'm an advocate, but I'm not an advocate for everybody. If you're undisciplined, dusty, and crusty, can't pass stuff or whatever, you ain't going to sell anyway. The military is not going to fix anything that you don't have, that you're not. But it is an option. Understand it. Look up, do research. They do pay now. They won't pay when I was in. We were struggling, starving. They take care of you. They train you, but it ain't for free. They want something from you, just like everything in every other corporation. It could tax your body. It could tax your mind. You might get sent out to the ocean or to Antarctica somewhere. It is what it is. But you're there to get what you want from them. It's like me, I did my 2 years. I moved the hell on. I went to college and moved on. Still got benefits for life. Some people do 20, keep their whole retirement, but find what works for you. Last thing I'll say, can y'all explain how the actual GI Bill works for a person who says, I want to do my 2, 3, 4 years, and then I want to get out? How does the GI Bill actually pay? Because I actually don't know anymore.
Okay, so what you do is whenever you find the college that has what you want to study, you apply and then you get approved for the school, get accepted to the school. The first thing you need to do, most every school has a veterans department of veteran services. You let them know that you're eligible for the GI Bill. And what they do is they're going to get like your 214, which is your exit paperwork from the Army. And then they're going to get, 214. And then it's something else that they get, but they'll tell you how to get it. It's one more thing that they need. Then they go over, they get with your, whatever you're going to study, they get with your advisor, and then they come up with a plan, and then they're going to come to you, and this is how your class is going to work, whatever. Then that veterans counselor sends it up to Big Army or whoever does education, the education department in the Army. And then after that, you just go to school. And the only thing you have to do is you have to maintain. Do you have to maintain with the GI Bill?
You have to maintain a GPA. Yes.
You cannot fail any classes, or you have to pay for that class, and you cannot drop below full time. You can drop a class, but you have to have, I think most full time is 12 hours a semester. Or if it's a 6-week program, you can take those like one at a time. Like if it's all online and it's 6 and 8 week programs, you can take those one at a time. That's what it is, DB, the letter of eligibility. I knew it was something else they needed. But
I forgot it was a long time ago.
Look at what I know it's something else, but so your counselor, you just have to make sure that your advisor and your counselor, like every email you send, every email they send you, that both of them are on there, so everybody stay on the same page. And that's the only thing. You just go to school because they're gonna pay for your books, and then Your VA counselor is the one that's certified that you were in school during that time, and then you'll get your stipend every month on the first, just like a regular paycheck, but it's only once a month. You're on the first, you'll get your housing stipend, and then like say like for Christmas time, you know, most of the semester ends like in the middle, you'll only get half of that, but the rate that you get is the average rate for wherever you are. So when you're using your GI Bill, if you're in California, it's going to be higher than say somebody that's in Louisiana using their GI Bill. They do an average on your area. So it's not a full BAH. Like I think I want to say for Florida, what the GI Bill, the housing stipend is like $1,500. But in Maryland, I want to say it's like 22. In California, it's like, I know Houston and California are higher.
Hold up. $2,200 a month in Maryland?
I think
just BAH?
No, it's not. It's not. It's your house, your housing allowance, something like that.
God.
Yeah, it's something like that.
We wasn't getting that. 01 when I started school, we weren't getting that. No, just no.
Yeah, when I was in the academy in 2014, I was getting $1,700.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's nice. It's nice. I'm telling you, because I want to say Florida. Yeah, I wasn't.
It is what you make it, Scan.
Yeah, that's why I say you can
really
come up, because you got like when I first got out, I had my regular job and I was making. When I came out, the job that I went to, I started out at 72, and then I had bonuses. Then I had my 100%, and then after I had gotten my job pretty good, I started taking classes again. And then I was using my voc rehab to take classes. So I was getting my stipend and my classes was getting paid for it. So yeah,
there's a couple other things though. It doesn't have to be for college courses.
It does not.
You have a trade or something you want to do.
Certification,
You can use it for that too.
Yeah.
I went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I learned how to teach people how to play golf. They paid for it, and they paid for my apartment. Yeah. What else? If you choose not to use it, you need to check to see how many years, but you can pass it down to your children.
GI Bill, you only have to have 1 month to give them the full benefits. So save 1 month, and then they'll get the full benefits if you have kids.
There you go. So there's all kind. Again, it's what you make it.
And if you're 100%,
as far as I'm concerned, why women don't go in, I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me why women don't go in the military. Because it only sets you on the right path. And it sets you on a debt-free path.
Yep. Because like I told you, I got training to work in the mailroom. So I got the same certifications that people at the USPS, like at the post office. And people love jobs working at the post office. Like people don't want to retire from the post office. All their certifications they had to do, I did that in the Army. Like I could go work at the post office. So like stuff like when I tell people do stuff that you can do on the outside, like when all my soldiers, if they wanted some kind of training or whatever, like because when I worked on the in the boat battalion, we used to call in contractors to fix certain parts of the boat. But I was just like, I had talked to my commander, and I was just like, why can't our people do it? Oh, well, they're not certified to do it. So what I did, I went to the school that was like right down the street, and what we did was they wrote up something happened, whatever. So they were able to go to the school to get that training. So we didn't have to hire our contractors, which it was cheaper for them to train the soldiers that we already paying to do it, and they do it, and bringing in contractors to do it. So it was saving them money, and they got this certification. So when they was getting out, they was able to go to like shipyards and stuff with all these certifications and start getting paid immediately getting out. So like it's ways around it. And if somebody gonna pay you to do it, like instead of going to work every day, they was going to school all day to learn how to work on the bottom part, like in the engine, some part of the boat. I don't know. I just told them where to go. And like I said, it's so much information I learned, but I would learn it for whatever mission I had. Then I would have something else I had to do. So I didn't retain all of it, but I had like some workarounds. But especially like Trey was saying, marry up with somebody that is been in and know some stuff. So that's why I always try to take care of my soldiers. But I would ask them like, well, why can't we just do this? Like, because I went to my NCO, why we can't just get them to train? It was like, well, we never thought about it like that. So as long as you keep your nose clean, somebody because I was like, let me just go give it a shot. Let me pitch this to my commander and see, would this make more sense? If it make financial sense, she's like, yeah. She's like, we can make it happen. And they signed a letter of agreement. I forgot what they call it, but something with that college. And so now every year, even now to this day, they still send so many soldiers to get this same training. And them soldiers be ready to get out because they know when they get out, they can walk in a job, because this is like where they work in this part of the ship, a boat or whatever. Like, you have to have all these certifications, and it's rare that somebody has all those certifications. So they're getting paid coming out. Like, I'm talking about paid. Like, you might have somebody that's 24, got all these certifications, you coming out making 60, 70, doing a job that you was just doing. So it's the same thing. And you already got all your certs. So,
we had people doing that in the shipyard in Virginia.
Yeah.
You were already working, already knew certain jobs on the ship, go straight to the shipyard.
Yep.
Already working, making 50, 60 grand.
Yep.
We had people doing that.
You'd be a fool if your passion is in tech or in dentistry or nursing or something along those lines. You'd be a fool not to go in the military and let them pay for all that stuff.
Nurses, they will pay your loans and they will pay you bonuses.
Right. Like let them pay for all of it. And here's the thing for women. I think a lot of women think it's not as hard as you think it is. It really is not. It's not that difficult. It's an adjustment period. That's what people don't understand. It's an adjustment to get used to the strict, the accountability, the being on time, the routine, right? It's just an adjustment period. It's not difficult. It's just something you probably never had to do. And eventually you will get used to it. Even now, some 10 plus years later, I still wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, still wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's just an adjustment. You'll get used to it after a while. The people think that it's hard to do. It's really not that difficult. After a while, it just becomes second nature. And here's the thing. Nobody's there to see you fail. You're not there to fail. Nobody there wants you to fail. Everybody there wants you to make it because you're a part of the team. We want you on the team. Nobody's taking this much time, this much effort, spending this much money to fail you. That doesn't make any sense. And it's a waste of time and effort and money. So if you're there, it's because they want you to succeed. I personally disagree with Scam on this in the sense of people who don't have discipline. I think you do need to go. I know women that were overweight, that had no discipline, that were loose and running around doing whatever they want. They are now E8s, E9s. They are wives. They have kids. They got degrees. Like, it was the military that helped instill that sort of discipline in them. Who knows where they would have been had they not been there, right? So I think that's the best thing for them. But you have to make it. You have to make it what you want it to be. And I was talking to a guy yesterday.
I can meet you halfway on that part.
Yeah,
you do have to make a decision.
You
have to make a decision to change.
I was talking to a guy that's going into the Marines. And the thing is, you have to come up with a plan. What's your plan? If you're going in for 4 years, what's the plan? Is the plan to go in and get these certs, get these jobs, get this, and then get out? Fine. Is your plan, okay, I'm gonna test this out, see what I like in 4 years. If I do like it, I'm gonna re-up. Okay, fine. What's your plan? Have a plan. Sit down and discuss what you're gonna do with your money. You're going to get paid while you're in there. What are you doing with your money? Are you putting it aside? Are you investing it? Or what are you doing? As long as you have a plan and you execute that plan, you will be fine. You will be. Listen. I got a buddy of mine. He's a multimillionaire, and it's because he was house hacking in the military. He ain't tell nobody. He was just doing it. I kept wondering how you keep moving from apartment to apartment. Like every year he in a different apartment. Well, it's because he was buying the buildings. He was buying the triplexes. This is what he was doing. This is what he was doing. And then he got married to another chick who was also in the military. They wound up using her VA loan, and they just did the same thing with hers.
Yep.
Like, there's so much you can do, but you have to have a plan. Just don't go in there and say, "Oh, I'm just gonna do whatever they want me to do," and okay.
No.
All right. Then they gonna take you for exactly what you want them for. As long as you have a plan, say, I'm here to get my education, I'm here to get these certs, I'm here to do my time, I'm here to invest my money, and then when I'm done, I'll make a decision whether or not to stay or to go. You will get far more from them than they get from you.
Yep. Facts.
Yeah. I'm gonna give my final thoughts. We're going to do this unorthodox, but I'm probably going to do a part 2, seeing because I'm learning stuff as I'm hearing this that I didn't even know existed. Just being honest. My final remarks is this: at the end of the day, number one, use your fitness and your diet and stuff. You should, if you're in your prime years, you should be looking your prime way and be able to perform in your prime. Get in shape regardless of the military. But if you're not in shape and can at least pass, they're going to get you in shape one way or another. Get with it. The military has lots of benefits, from education to cash to benefits for life, to opportunities to travel the world and do a lot of different things, and unlimited little nickel and dime trainings, like as becoming a officer or non-commissioned officer. As you move up the ranks, it might be supervision, which looks good on a resume. Guard duty, which looks good on a resume if you want to work security or anything. EEO, HR, all this stuff looks good on resumes. And it could be some little things you do 6 months, 3 months that you volunteer for that can get you into the door to something that's 6 figures, or extra training and extra certification. They offer a lot. They also require a lot. Ain't nothing free in this world. You're going to work. They're going to get the work out of you, but you're supposed to be working and doing something anyway. Make a decision. Look at the value. Look at what's the offer. If you know somebody 17, 20, 24, pass this video on. I'll probably do a part 2. It'd probably be even better, a little more organized, and I might bring a recruiter or 2 on. Get some more questions answered, whatever. But
my best friend's a recruiter too.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She was gonna come up tonight, but she had they had a hail and farewell or something like that tonight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sometime we're gonna have a recruiter on the panel, and I actually know of an ex-recruiter that I never thought about it until soon as the show started looking at the Marine uniforms. One of my friends is an ex-recruiter for the Marines.
Yeah.
But that'll just be an introduction. Military could be a great option. Women's, men's, yeah. But anyway, thank you, Trey, for coming up. Thank you, Mel, for your time. Thank you all for your service. I know y'all sick of that phrase, can't stand it, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. Thank you for your service.
It was an honor to serve.
But anyway, we're out. Scam Likely show is back. I'm rusty with the controls and moving all this stuff around, but now I'm over 40, so I can claim that I'm old and obsolete and all that stuff. And you can't say nothing. I'm gonna file a discrimination lawsuit on you. But no, we're back. We're gonna cover some more topics, more communication based. I'm not gonna do men's versus women's and relationship guru garbage. Some basic stuff, but at the end of the day, fitness, mental health, communication are the main things that you're going to hear me talking about. If you don't take care of physical fitness, you die. If you don't take care of mental health, you go insane. And it's going to affect your confidence and your communication, everything and everyone around you. This is science, and this is proven facts. The most common thing that we do as individuals, we communicate. Active listening is bleeding. People need to be heard, because people are who people are. We're dealing with drama, trauma, and all kind of crazy stuff in this crazy world. Sin has been here since the beginning of time, and it's not going anywhere. That's my closing remarks. Thank you all for coming up. This is the end of the show. As soon as I find a button to actually click the end thing, I'm rusty on this. Where is it? There it is. Found it.